Hi, welcome to Quid Pros Quo. I'm Rin.
And I'm Zac.
And today we are talking about story structure. And this is starting a medium-length series on story structure. I say medium-length because it was originally going to be like... We've had like mini-series that are 2 or 3 episodes. And this one was originally going to be like 7, and now it's like 10. So... It happens. So it's not going to be as long as the world building series, which we just keep coming back to.
But there's so much to say.
But anyways, there's so much to say about world building. It's like one of the most fun parts of writing, in my opinion.
Yes.
It's like why you get world builders disease and not plotting disease. Not drafting disease. It's never drafting disease.
It's so unfortunate, but it is pretty true.
Yeah, the closest we get to drafting disease is NaNoWriMo, and after that, everyone needs to take like a 6-month break.
That's how I feel, where it's like, okay, now I'm not going to like draft at all until next NaNoWriMo, and it is not very good for my output, and I'm trying to fix it.
I know, it's so bad for me. Okay, but anyways, what is structure? Zac, do you want to take us into this?
Yes, I would love to. Structure is the skeleton for your story. Another way of describing it is the meta-narrative, or kind of what your story generalizes up to. A couple of weeks ago, actually, I suppose this is talking months ago, we had our book club about Story Genius, and Story Genius talks about structure generally without referring to specific story beats. And what we are going to be doing in this series is talking about some of those beats, like those beat sheets and outlines of the kind of archetypal events that happen inside of your story that can help to provide that structure to the narrative. Now, a lot of beginning authors feel very antsy and anxious about using these beat sheets because what they look like is, scene 1, this thing happens to the main character and they respond in this way, kind of thing. And they feel like, oh, well, that's super derivative. And what I would say to those new authors is that it is super derivative, but you need to start there. And once you start there and get a good handle on what is going on under the hood and why everything hangs together on the skeleton, that's when you can start mixing things up and inverting expectations. It's one of those, you got to learn the rules to break them.
Yeah, absolutely. And as for why structure is important, it helps connect the story so it's more than just a collection of events. Because we've all stories without structure tend to work like children's TV shows where it's just episodes that are in the same world, but not actually like connected. And maybe by season 2 or 3, you get more of a plot and you have like actual ligament between the episodes. But season 1 is pretty much always just like, nothing is plot relevant. We can do whatever we want. We're just having fun because we're a goofy kids cartoon.
Right.
But structure goes along with genre and includes the reader into what's happening, and it can also help modulate the pacing. And we will talk about pacing more, especially in our Save the Cat episode. Because pacing will help your story feel more grounded, I want to say, and like less rushed, but not too slow at the same time.
Yep. So the purpose of this series is for us to talk to you all about the different, like a couple of different structures that you can use. And one of the things that, if you've read a lot of writing craft books, you are very familiar with the phrase, like, this is like the copywriting thing where it's like one cool trick, or this is the one thing that you need to like launch your career, to write a bestseller, or that sort of thing. And it's always like, this is the one thing, guys. And we're here to tell you that it's not true. We're here to de-influence you. Where none of these structures is the one true structure, trademark. They are all just helpful options for you to use as you're designing the skeleton behind your story.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you use the word de-influence because I think it's funny because we're just influencing you in the right direction now, I feel like. Because, like, listen, the one true structure is a marketing tool, like Zac said. Like, it's not... Oh, my God. I say this because I hate seeing the de-influencing you to buy things.
Yep.
And it's like a Target anti-hauls on like YouTube, and it's like, I went to Target and here's everything I didn't buy.
Oh,
like
what?
I did buy this other. Have you not seen these?
No, I've seen.
Oh my god, they're so.
I've seen some videos where it's like, I think my favorite is where they pull out the chart, where they like work through the chart where they're like, should I buy this? And the answer is usually no, right? Where they like work through the thought process of like, do I need it? Could I borrow it? You know, those sorts of things.
But anyways, some books and resources on structure generally. This is just a list, and we'll put it in the show notes. But we have Story by Robert McKeeWriting Archetypal Character Arcs by K.M. Weiland. Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell. Heroine with 1,000 Faces by Maria TatarRomancing the Beat by Gwen HayesVonnegut Story Shapes, which is not a specific book, but is a resource that we want to offer up to you guys.
Just Google it. At least it's out there.
Just Google it. Kurt Vonnegut gave a lecture on it. Like, it's out there. Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull. Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody based on the original Save the Cat. And The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. So lots of resources out there. You can do a deep dive. I also would like to recommend Amy Beatty's story structure comparison chart, which if you go to her website, which I can put up the amybeatty.com, of course, it's like a super easy website and I couldn't remember it. But if you go there and you go to her community tab and then you go to for writers, the first thing is exploring story structure. You click on that and scroll down to the bottom of the page and it will take you to an interactive digital whiteboard that compares the a bunch of different story structures and like generalizes them to one true structure, which is her named generic story structure. But I think it's a cool chart, so I'm quick plug for it. But yeah, tons of resources out there for story structure. You can also look up on YouTube or any other Google thing you want. And then for the last little segment of this episode, we're just going to talk about what plots we are planning on covering. And this is not the final list. This is just what we brainstormed in the 5 minutes before we started recording this episode. So we may realize we forgot one and we'll go back and add it on. I don't think Vonnegut Story Shapes are having their own episode, but I think they should. So we should add that to our notes.
Let's add
it. So we are changing the list as we speak. But our list as it stands in order is roughly the hero's journey, the 3-act structure, or also known as the Freytex Pyramid, the 4-act structure, which I argue is the same as the 7-point structure, Save the Cat, the Pixar Story Spine, Harmon's Story Cycle, Romancing the Beat, which is for romance novels and romance subplots in your novel, based off Gwen Hayes' books, and Vonnegut Story Shapes. We are so excited to bring you this series. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been thinking about it a lot recently. So, yeah, it'll be good. Zach, any final thoughts?
I am super excited for this series as well, and I really hope that once we get to the end of it, that you'll have a couple of ideas for things that you can try inside of your work in progress, or structures that you can use for projects going forward, because that's what we're all about at Quid Pros Quo, is giving you the tools for you to be a successful writer. Thank you for joining us this week. I am so excited to talk to you guys next week about the hero's journey.
All right, this has been Quid Pros Quo. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.
Quid Pros Quo is hosted by DC Winters and CK Jensen. If you like this episode, be sure to leave us a rating. And if you'd like to contact us, you can email us at quidprosquo@gmail.com. For more episodes, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts.